Hello, everybody. I know I'm more or less covering this on a bi-daily basis now, but it is what it is. Um, there's just so much stuff going on, and I feel like we've come this far together, so we might as well continue on. I'm going to go on vacation in a couple weeks, and I'll be doing vlogs and kind of stuff like that, but there won't be UCU videos. Unless something happens and I decide to make a vlog, so I'll be away from my computer. So, I don't know, guys. Part of why I do the whole Ukraine cinematic universe, I have the whole UCU, and it's like a big joke, and I'm making fun of a truly horrific situation, is none of these dudes take it seriously. Like, Starmer doesn't take it seriously. Um, Biden didn't. Blinken didn't. Zelensky. None of these people take it seriously. They think they're in a fucking movie. And they act as if they're in a movie. And that's why I always make movie comparisons and movie illusions, because they do it themselves. And it's really easier. I actually find it easier to analyze their actions on the assumption that they think they're in a movie than to um, yeah, than to assume that they actually have some sort of like plan as to what they're doing. So let's get into it. So Trump has Trump has laid down the law. Trump cut off intelligence. So Trump has cut off intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Let's see here. All right. Yeah. So, oh yeah, I forgot. I should have included that Meloni left the Avengers. Like the Avengers are already over. They've already had to. The Avengers movie couldn't get enough funding, so they've already had to start cutting superheroes. Um, I should have included that in title. Okay. Let me see if there's enough care. I wish they'd make these longer. Um, I could make these titles longer. And Meloni leaves Avengers. Okay. There we go. Let me there we go. That's on. All right. Let me just share this link. Yeah, so Trump had his big speech. I don't really have anything to say about Trump's speech. I'm not the biggest. I'm not even going to talk about it because people get angry when I talk about Trump. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump's style, but I'm like an upper middle class guy, so that's probably why. Um, I mean, it was funny, but it was also kind of, yeah. I don't know. I I get that it's a joke, but like I can't help cringing when he says like his presidency's better than George Washington's. Maybe that was a joke, probably, but with Trump you never really can tell. Anyways, but I will say one thing about Trump. At least there's some optimism there. At least he has like some ideas. Like what original ideas did Biden ever have? Trump is like, you can say like a lot of it is impractical or it's like retarded or whatever, but at least he's trying to come up with original ideas for some of this stuff. Um, and he's talking about like a better future for America, and he announced that we're going to Mars, baby. That's what I'm hyped about. I'm hyped about that actually. Um, let's fucking go to Mars. Um, I don't know. I believe a lot in space exploration, if for no other reason than it's just cool. So I'll give credit to Trump. I'm gonna to snake my parents a little bit here because I just kind of have to bring it up. So my parents were gonna go on a vacation to the U.S. And they've decided they're not going to go because of Trump. and they're afraid that they're going to get attacked by like MAGA people, and yeah, so they're just not they're just not going because they're afraid that MAGA people will attack them. Now they were going to go to New Orleans, and like I'm pretty sure it's you're more likely to get killed by the diversity there than by like some random Trump supporter. So they're like, "Well, we have an Ontario license plate on our car," and I'm like, I don't think they care. So I I don't care. Anyways, so I just didn't even want to fight over that one. It just seems kind of ridiculous to me. I'm going to Washington D.C. next month. Now, the one reason I would say I could understand people not wanting to go to the U.S. Is just worries that the security system is in such like that it's going to be a shit show at the airport. I actually had thought about that a bit myself. Not that I'm like really scared, but just that like getting through customs and TSA and stuff like that. I thought maybe with all the chaos of Doge and stuff that might be kind of a nightmare. But that yeah. So anyways, that I think is like I can understand that people are kind of worried about that. So yeah. Anyway, so Trump has ordered to halt intelligence deliveries to Ukraine. So they ordered a pause of the military aid, and now they're pausing the intelligence. Now the intelligence was almost as valuable as the military aid. Keep in mind, America has a huge range of spy satellites. I think they have them. I would imagine they have the most spy satellites in the world, and they have been transmitting all of their spy satellite data, all their like the CIA's cyber investigation, all their inside their moles in Russia. They've been transferring all of these things into the Ukrainians' hands. They have their own surveillance aircraft, their own drones, their own, like I said, spies who are just putting all this kind of stuff into the Ukrainians' pockets, and that's all gone. Granted, they still made bad strategic decisions despite that, but that can't be good. That's got to be rough. Ukraine doesn't have spy satellites. I'm pretty sure they don't, at least. So they're basically kind of blind now. It's whatever they can get from, I guess, the Europeans and their own drones and stuff. So that is a massive blow. However, we have, let me find it. Keir Starmer, licensed to bore, is going off the reservation. Let me find it. They have said, the UK, I think, has said, we are going to continue to provide intelligence. So there's a couple countries that share their intelligence through the Five Eyes program. Let me try to find this. Okay, so part of what Trump said is that the UK is not allowed to give intelligence to Ukraine. So UK said, yeah, the America's like any intelligence you get from us through Five Eyes, you're gonna have to not give it to Ukraine. And I think Britain said, no, we're gonna keep giving it to Ukraine even though we told you not. So it's to give it to Ukraine. So it's like some sort of James Bourne plot or Jason Bourne, no, not James Bourne, Jason Bourne plot. Let's see here. UK continue intelligence Ukraine. Like they've been kicked off of the reservation. They've been kicked off the reservation. They're barred from access. But Keir Starmer, is going to keep going. Let me just see here. Let's see. UK continues. I'm just trying to find the article. Just trying to find it because there was I'm trying to find where it was. Here we go. Okay. Just trying to find it. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. So we have here. I did actually find it. I didn't make this up. Okay, let's read this in like a James Bondy voice. As recently as during the Munich Security Conference, less than 3 weeks ago, British officials were insisting that it was business as usual when it came to the UK's incredibly close working partnership with Washington on intelligence sharing, which disproportionately benefits. If you look at the countries involved in Five Eyes, none of these countries, I doubt any of these countries really contribute much to it other than the US and maybe the UK. I'd imagine they get a fuck ton more out of America than America gets out of them. At a working level, so let's see here. There's nothing a business as usual about cutting off your embattled ally from vital intel in the middle of a war. They're in alliance with Ukraine? I didn't think that was happening. When did that alliance happen? Intelligence from UK and other allied nations' assets can still flow to Kiev, and indications are that if and when President Trump gets the mineral deal he wants from Ukraine, plus some extra concessions, America's intel could be back on. So the U.S. has said, look, you're not allowed to give intelligence anymore to Ukraine. And Starmer's like, no, I'm Keir Starmer. I'm going to keep giving the intelligence to Ukraine. I'm Jason Bourne. I'm going off the reservation. The FBI is going to have to come after me. Let's see, Britain, other members of the Five Eye Partnership. So, yeah. The UK has a budget 20 times smaller than the US intelligence budget. So, yeah, it looks like they're going to keep giving it. Okay, let's just take a step back and then let me just kind of summarize this. So Donald Trump cut off U.S. intelligence sharing with Ukraine, which is basically most of what their intelligence comes from. And they told Britain, look, you aren't allowed to give intelligence to Ukraine either. You're not allowed to as well. And then the UK and some of the other countries have said, no, we're going to keep giving intelligence to them, but it's going to be, I don't know. They said they're going to keep doing it, I think, despite that. So they're going off the reservation. Keir Starmer's become Jason Bourne. The intelligence agency's kicking him out, but he's going to keep doing the right thing and try to get it to the right people. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but that is the plan. That is the plan that they're coming up with. Let's see here. The Moscow Times. Keep in mind the Moscow Times is a Western-funded newspaper. Let's see here. However, some U.S. allies with intelligence assets in Ukraine were expected to continue providing relevant intelligence. And an unnamed Ukrainian source cited by Sky News said the suspension is selective, allowing for some intelligence to continue flowing. So, yeah, so I don't even know. The whole thing is just nonsense. John Radcliffe looks a little bit like... He looks kind of like a cross between Steve Carell and the actor who plays Andy Bernard. I kind of see like both of them kind of combined. So that's where we are at the moment. Okay, now we have Zelensky's letter to Santa. So Zelensky got into the big fight with Donald Trump. It was a disaster. They were going to sell the minerals. They were going to have the minerals deal. It was going to go through the minerals deal that didn't actually do anything. That wasn't actually a deal. It was some vague commitment to establish some fund that profits from minerals and ports was going to be put into to do something. I don't know. We went over the text of it. It didn't make a lot of sense. As I've said, it's like the scene in The Godfather Part 2 where Michael goes, "My offer is nothing." And now the new narrative is that the minerals deal was about... So the idea was, okay, so Ukraine was going to sign over all of its mineral wealth to America, except the money wasn't going to go to America. It was going to go to this fund. And the fund was going to be used to fund reconstruction in Ukraine, or something. I think that's how it went. It kind of felt like a drug hallucination. But now the narrative is, the point of the minerals deal was to give America financial stakes in Ukraine. So because if Ukraine got taken over by Russia, America wouldn't get the minerals, which don't even exist, because from my understanding, the actual rare earth minerals are in the Russian-controlled areas, and it's completely... And the ones that... the whole thing's fraudulent anyways. There's only a fraction of what they claim there is. But because America would have the non-agreement agreement that would provide them with access to minerals that don't exist... They would have a financial stake in Ukraine, and that would be a security guarantee. And Zelensky, when given this, you know what it's kind of like, this deal was? You know in the Bible with the Good Samaritan, and there's like the guy dying, and he saves the man? That's like the mineral deal. That's like the mineral deal. It was like Christ reaching down to raise Lazarus from the dead. So, in honor of Trump, I'm drinking an Arizona iced tea. So that fell apart. So now the new narrative is that the whole thing was like a test from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The scene where they had to, let's see, we'll just bring it up. Where they have to pick the cup that they think is the Holy Grail to drink out of, and the Nazi guy picks a really fancy one, and it's not the cup that Christ used at the Last Supper, because Jesus wasn't exactly rich. So he was probably using the wood one. So the guy drinks out of
it. He chose poorly.
So that pretty much happened. So let's see if we can find Zelensky's letter to Santa. He posted this letter to Trump. Geez, Zelensky's on this letter that he 100% wrote. That was totally him and not Keir Starmer. Um, Fuck. I know it's. I'm sorry, guys. It's always a mess when I'm using Twitter, but how do you spell javelin? Is that how you spell it? Because he wrote this open letter to Trump. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to find it. It's why is it so hard to fucking use Twitter? Um, okay, here we go. It says something that it's easier for me to go to Google to look up a post than to use Twitter's search engine. Okay. Also, another piece of advice is that, like, maybe another level to. Okay, okay, wow, geez, sorry. There's just so many layers of gay ops. So the mineral deal was apparently a test, like I said, like the Holy Grail, wherein Trump was trying to see if Zelensky was committed to peace. And if he had have signed the mineral deal, it's kind of like in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with the test to give the everlasting gobstopper back to Willy Wonka to prove that Charlie was not like the other kids and was worthy of inheriting the Wonka legacy. So it was kind of like the rare earth metals are like an everlasting gobstopper, and if Zelensky had the character to return it to Trump, then Trump would give him the golden ticket and get him out of the war. That's my theory as to what happened. But jokes aside, from my understanding, people are saying it was a test to get to see if Zelensky was ready for peace, and he completely failed because he refused to make a commitment to it. Also, a thing to keep in mind is Trump's staffers had told them that he should wear a suit. They're like, dude, wear a suit. If you show up in your combat fatigues, it makes us think that you're not serious about peace. Zelensky said, no, I'm going to show up and beg for money in my pajamas. And, yeah, so that happened. Okay. So Zelensky has gone to his room and thought about what he wants to do, and he's written his letter to Santa. Now, this letter to Santa is, I don't even know if Zelensky actually wrote it. I don't. Alex Christoforou, no, the minerals don't exist, Base Caulfield. Like, it's been proven that they don't exist. Like, or if they exist in like way smaller numbers than what's claimed, and most of them are in the areas that Russia controls. So it's just the whole thing is just like, why? How did we get here? Let's just think about this for a minute. We have like two world leaders. We have like, everyone remember the memes when Sargon wore a suit and the suit didn't fit very well and people made fun of him. We literally have got into that with two world leaders in the middle of a massive war, and they're squabbling, and Zelensky's like, no, I'm not going to put on a big boy suit. And Trump's like, put on a big boy suit. It's like, no. And then they had this like catty, like teenage girl fight during a press conference, and then Zelensky left, and then Trump's like, I'm not going to talk to Zelensky anymore. He was mean to me. And Vance is like, you should say thank you, and you need to say sorry. And then Zelensky goes to like his friends, the Keir Starmer, and Starmer's like, don't worry, we'll make sure you get that. Like, it's just such bullshit. Like, all of this is just completely and totally retarded. It is. Like, it's a joke. Like, the fact that once again, the reason I make all these bizarre movie comparisons is I don't know what else to compare it to. Like, none of these people are fucking serious. We have Zelensky I don't know. We have Starmer like going Jason Bourne. We have, yeah, I know that Zelensky said I will wear a suit once the war is over, but the choice was, um, wear a fucking suit and sign the treaty, or Trump's going to dump you. And he went with the latter for whatever reason. That was more important, I guess. But why are we even talking about this? Like, it's and we have like Keir Starmer saying that they're gonna assemble the Avengers. Um, like Starmer got together like this coalition of losers, and they're gonna form the coalition of the willing. Like, I just we're gonna have like a literal fucking remake of the okay, for those of you who don't know, the original coalition of the willing was a group of countries led by the US that invaded Iraq. So the new coalition of the willing is like Starmer getting the European countries together to try to bail out Ukraine with the idea that they're going to trick Trump into providing them with security guarantees. And once they inevitably get owned by Russia, they're going to drag Trump into the war. However, Meloni has said no. So the female member of the Avengers is out. Meloni said, no, we are not sending Italian soldiers to Ukraine. It's the shortest lived coalition since Operation OBGYN. Um, so, so Meloni's out. The female member of the Avengers is out. I guess Kaya Callas is still in. She can be the female version. But yeah, the coalition is immediately falling apart. So I guess we're still going to have France and uh, Britain are going to deal with it. Anyways, so all this nonsense happened. So Zelensky decided to write a letter to Santa, um, and basically beg in a really passive aggressive way that is probably not written by him. So Alex Christophorou's theory is this was written by the British, which I actually agree with, having read through it. But we'll get into it. I once again, guys, I'm sorry if I'm not explaining this very well. It's just there's so many levels of nonsense, and they're all happening at the same time. It can be kind of difficult to even deal with it. Yeah, Ralph's letter to Santa worked too. That's true. Okay, so let's read the Zelensky letter. Let's see here. Free sad music. Uh, just trying to find some sad music. Uh, okay, here we go. That's good. I want to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. None of us wants an endless war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible. Okay, okay. Let me see here. One second. So I'm trying to find some. There we go. None of us, Ukraine is working to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians. My team and I stand ready. to work under President Trump's strong leadership. I don't know. I feel like the British wrote this. I don't know if Zelensky would ever actually say like strong leadership. So, but they're trying to suck up to Trump, and he thinks if he sucks up to him, he's like Dear Santa. It's gonna go. Well, I have to find royalty-free music, or my stream will get shut down. We are ready to work fast to end the war, and the first stage could be the release of prisoners and truce in the sky, ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately, if Russia will do the same. Then we want to move very fast through all next stages and to work with the US to agree to strong final deal. Okay, so here's the thing. All of these things are on the Russian end. Uh, Ukraine doesn't have any missiles. They've used them all up. There might be like a couple storm shadows or attack comes in Zelensky's attic lying around. The bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, 9% of that is done by Russia. Ukraine has like a couple drones that do superficial damage to some energy infrastructure, and it doesn't really matter. Russia doesn't care. Ukraine doesn't have a navy, so it doesn't really matter. If you go through it, then literally all of these things are things that only Russia does. So it's just like, look, guys, the first stage of the truce is Russia stops using all of their advantages and makes it more even for us to fight on the ground. GSP said Ukraine blocked all exchanges of prisoners. Let me look that up. Ukraine blocks prisoner exchange. I'm not seeing it. If you could give me a source for that, it would be appreciated. Um, um, I don't know. I don't see anything on that. If you could give me a source, I'll bring it up. But I don't see the. I'm not going to accuse them of something if I don't actually. I'm not able to actually prove it. Um. Okay, so the truth in the sky, truth in the sea. Keep in mind, this is the exact terms that Starmer said. This is pretty much exactly what the British and French, their proposal was. This is, I think, more or less, except less well written, what they had said. So I don't think Zelensky wrote this. I think the British and French wrote this for him. Or no, the British wrote this for him, and like Starmer wrote this on the back of a napkin while he was at Applebee's with his suit. That's my guess. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. And we remember the moment when things changed, when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. See, that's a reference to the conversation is like Vance was like, you aren't grateful. Trump gave you javelins, and now it's just blatant sucking up, dude. I think it's a bit too late, but I guess once again, like these people don't get. Yes, Trump is a narcissist, but he's not stupid. Like he's smart enough to know when people are trying to compliment him to get something out of him. And I don't really get why they think this is going to work. I mean, I guess they have no other options. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive. Once again, it's the "I'm sorry that you were offended" thing. It's not actually apologizing. I think the whole like Zelensky has to apologize thing is kind of G-slur to begin with, but um, yeah. It's basically the old "I'm sorry that you were offended," which is kind of a passive aggressive statement. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time in any convenient format. We see this agreement as a step towards greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively. Okay, well, so yeah, we're back to security guarantees. U.S. has to give them security guarantees. This is just the point that's going to keep getting restated time and time again. So apparently Zelensky put out a video, and we will take a look at the video because I think he said something else. Okay, let's see here.
Доповідь головкома Сирського, 420
I think the one for me. I know he does one every night, but I think he said
виробництво
something
зброї
last night. So let's just
шановні українці,
let this play.
Кілька речей за сьогодні. Доповідь головкома Сирського, фронт, Курськ, наші позиції, наші дії. Бригади забезпечені всім необхідним. Я дякую нашим воїнам. Стійкість армії.
The brigades have everything they need, guys. The brigades, they have all the they have no weapon shortages.
Це впевненість всього народу. І, звісно, це впевненість нашої дипломатії. Особливо відзначу, що дякую за вашу полк Донеччині, зброї, мовленосництва. Це дії, це незмінний пріоритет. Ми готуємо домовленості, щоб збільшити наше українське виробництво зброї. І це передусім дрони для нашого фронту. Для того, щоб берегти життя.
How are they going to ramp up drone production? I mean, maybe they can, like in light manufacturing. How are they going to increase domestic production? I mean, Russia's just going to blow it up. Is this the plan? Like, we're going to have the truce in the sky and they're going to build weapon factories?
Наших воїнів. Багато міжнародної роботи сьогодні. Я говорив з прем'єр-міністрами Нідерландів, Португалії, Словенії. Також говорив з канцлером Німеччини. Дякую за підтримку. Ми готуємось до саміту ЄС, який відбудеться вже завтра в Брюсселі. Всі бачать, наскільки швидко розвиваються дипломатичні події. Сьогодні наші команди України та Сполучених Штатів Америки почали працювати над
On an upcoming meeting.
Говорили Андрій Єрмак та Майк Вот. На перші, також на європейському напрямку кластерів. Про це стосується нашої
Okay, we're talking about EU. We're back to EU negotiations.
На європейському напрямку. Те, що
EU's totally going to allow Ukraine to join.
євроінтеграції.
That's definitely
Саме
something that's
кластерів
going to
в
happen.
процесі перемовин щодо вступу. Ми розраховуємо на підтримку наших партнерів. І ще одне. Сьогодні доповідав прем'єр.
Yeah, GSP, that's why I corrected myself. So yes, Ukraine does build drones on a small scale. That is true, and they probably can somewhat ramp it up, but they can't build any large industrial facilities because Russia will immediately destroy them. Russia's also been, I think, systematically killing off their drone operators.
Прем'єр-міністр України Денис Шмигаль. Внутрішні питання, зокрема фінансова стійкість. З 1 березня Україна вже традиційно проводить індексацію пенсій. Цього року на 11,5%. Загалом всіх уважними у фонді, і якщо у нас допомагає нашої.
Okay, so that video was put out. We're gonna solve this. We have these like magazine photos of like Zelensky like with a computer, wearing his glasses. Okay, here is the other. I think this maybe was the one.
Від Америки. Я доручив міністру оборони. Дорогі українці, українки. Сьогодні у багатьох одне питання: що буде далі з допомогою від Америки? Я доручив міністру оборони України, керівникам наших розвідок, дипломатам зв'язатись зі своїми відповідниками в Сполучених Штатах Америки і отримати офіційну інформацію.
Obtain official
Люди
information.
не повинні здогадуватись. Україна і Америка заслуговують на поважний діалог, на чітку позицію одне одного. Тим більше, коли йдеться про захист життів у час повномасштабної війни. Звісно,
A full-scale invasion.
не один тиждень отримували різні сигнали, і вже був прецедент зупинки допомоги, була зупинка гуманітарної допомоги, енергетичної. Також була вже і зупинка військової допомоги.
What a cope. Okay, let's look at this cope. We have the aid cope. Let's read the aid cope. Especially when it comes to protecting lives. Okay. During a full-scale war. Of course, in Ukraine, we have been receiving various signals for weeks now. There is already precedent for aid being halted. There's a suspension of humanitarian aid, of energy aid. There was also a halt in military aid at the end of January. But at that time, everything was quickly resumed. We saw the risks. Therefore, our agencies, both military and special services, managed to develop action algorithms for any developments in the situation. What the fuck does that mean? We have, what was it? Action algorithms if they cut off aid. What the fuck does that mean? An action algorithm if they cut off, is that like to manage resources? Like, is it an action algorithm? Let's watch that again.
І все вдалося швидко відновити. Ми бачили ризики.
We saw the risks. Therefore, agencies, both military and special services, managed to develop action algorithms for any developments in the situation. This is not 2022 anymore. Okay, so I don't know what that means. My best guess is the algorithm that he's talking about is some sort of like supply management algorithm. I think that's what he's going for. And because of the supply management algorithm, like they're able to properly ration supplies, so supplies go out at a rate that they can continue to go out in a consistent, I don't know.
Зараз наша стійкість вища. Ми маємо засоби захисту, але
We have the means to defend ourselves.
Партнерські відносини з Америкою для реального закінчення війни. Ніхто з нас не хоче нескінченної війни. Україна завжди буде вдячною Америці за всю ту підтримку, яка надавалась, яка надається і яка працює на збереження на сьогодні вже доволі крихких основ безпеки в Європі. Це ж не просто про нашу країну. Це про всіх.
It's about all of Europe, guys.
Ми прагнемо конструктивної співпраці, партнерських відносин, про те, що відбулось у Білому.
Partner-based relationships. Like, once again, I don't know, somebody is giving, I don't know, someone's giving him like this marketing speak.
Замість наших перемовин можна тільки шкодувати, але треба знаходити силу, йти далі, поважати одне одного, як ми завжди поважаємо Америку, Європу, всіх партнерів і разом робити все, щоб наблизити мир. Я дякую всім, хто українцям Фінляндії, міністрам Хорватії, мерцям Садка. Ця партія римка суттєво ППО.
Okay, let's look at the coalition of losers that he's managed to get together. Okay. Today I spoke with the president of Finland. Okay, largely irrelevant.
Говорив вже з президентом Фінляндії.
The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Stormfront, notorious white supremacist. Okay, so Keir Stormfront, like one of the least popular, least likable, least charismatic people to ever lead the UK. The Prime Minister of Greece, like who cares? Justo. Mark Rutte and Friedrich Merz. So this is the coalition of winners. Who's gonna bring it home? Oh yeah, so they took away Zelensky. Not Zelensky. They took away Orban and Hungary's voting rights because they were trying to veto this like $1 billion, like this $30 billion for Ukraine.
Додаткові системи, додаткові ракети, додаткова можливість захищати наші міста і села. Наші боти заради зміни кроки на повагу. І останнє. Нам відомо, що
не
змінили своїх позицій.
Their positional demands regarding Ukraine.
Вони будуть вимагати скорочення нашої армії, будуть хотіти юридичну відмову від наших територій, також суттєвої політичної. Slava
Ukraine. Okay, so that is the coalition that they've got together. There's Zelensky with his, I don't know if it's an iPhone or whatever. Wow, this guy posts a lot of pictures of himself. Oh, look at that cringe. That looks photoshopped. Wow. Like, you can see how much taller Justo is. Justo is like 6'3", I think. He's just completely mogging him. Can I get an optics check? Yeah, like Zelensky, yeah. It's not good, man. It's not good. Meloni just doesn't want to be there. Why is Justo even still around? Like, I don't know. Okay, so I wanted to just kind of finish off today by talking a bit about Ukrainian internal politics. So one of the issues that to keep in mind is I don't honestly know if Zelensky, even if he wanted to, would be able to negotiate. So I think it's important to keep in mind that there is no pro-peace party in Ukraine. There is the pro-war party that is led by Zelensky, the ultra-nationalists who are more pro-war, and the anti-Zelensky pro-war party, who think he's mismanaging the conflict and want to continue it, but they're just critical of him. And they, as far as I can determine, they don't have any plans. They'll attack, like lowering the conscription age and stuff, but they won't present any kind of answers. So that is the groups of people who we have in Ukraine. Let's see. Who is he following again? I forget who it was. Is it just Trump? Oh, okay. His wife. So there is no peace party. There is also no domestic political opposition. From my understanding, his only real rivals are Zelensky, who has been exiled, is now in United Kingdom as an ambassador. He's had his command of the military taken away. He's more or less marginalized. Poroshenko, who is the former president of Ukraine, I believe that they've taken away access to his money and he's under surveillance from the Secret Service. Klitschko, the mayor of Ukraine, has also been of Kiev, and he's being watched by the Secret Service. And that's pretty much it. There's no major political rival left for Zelensky on the national stage. They've all been either contained or eliminated or exiled. Sersky is widely despised, so there really isn't anybody. I guess there's Yulia Tymoshenko or whatever her name is, but her best days are long behind her. I don't think that anybody really cares about her, to be honest. So there's no ideological opposition in Ukraine to continuing the war among the political class. The people who would replace Zelensky are the ultra nationalists, probably. If Zelensky did try to seek a peace agreement, then the ultra nationalists would probably kill him and or replace him. They're really the only people who I think are in a position to even do a coup, and they're not going to do a coup to try to bring about peace. So long as the war goes on, Zelensky will maintain his position. If the war ends, then he's going to lose control of Ukraine, and somebody might whack him. So my point is, I don't think there's really any reason for him to try to negotiate. Why would he try to negotiate? The entire political system of Ukraine is united by continuing the war. He and his friends are probably making tens or hundreds of millions of dollars pilfering aid. And if he was to step down, then the ultranationalists would probably kill him. So there's really no reason for him to do anything. Just kind of keep on doing what he's doing. Now, some people may say that's extremely cynical to willingly allow millions of your people to get killed for your own political advancement, but I would never say something like that. I would never make that kind of accusation against Vladimir Zelensky. Now, do the Ukrainian people want the war to continue? There's really no way to know. Any poll that's conducted there is conducted under the security services watch. I don't think you can really trust any kind of opinion poll in Ukraine, and I think at this point I don't even know if you could trust if there would be ethics in video game journalism regarding an election. So the point is that there really is no reason for Zelensky to seek a peace. It's probably in his personal interest, and it's in the political class of the interest of the political class of Ukraine to just let this thing go until literally the Russians overrun everything and they can flee to Paris and set up a government in exile or something like that. So I don't see that there's any real way. There's no domestic opposition that's organized that can actually remove Zelensky from power. And he has no motivation to seek a negotiated settlement, nor will the political system let him seek one. So I just kind of feel like it's going to keep going on indefinitely. But we'll see. Once again, I think Putin just doesn't care anymore. He's just, if we have a negotiation, fine. We're just going to keep pushing on the front, keep doing what we're doing, and we'll let this like high school drama shit between Zelensky and Trump just kind of play out in the background. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed the video a little